Hey guys, hope y'all having a great day. Let's get on in here. We'll work on that and some more in a little bit. But so basically, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We're doing an episode on the Quimera and using that in conjunction with the iPad. So I am going to stand up for this one just because it'll make my life completely easier. But so let's see what we got over here on the Quimera. First off, we started, let's see which sound we start. Where is it? Bank C. This is a sound that I made using the Quimera, of course. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me while y'all hanging out and all that good stuff. So this is the first sound. Let me turn off any extra help here. And this is just the Quimera. This is a sound I made. But when you add something like the Mercury X to that, it just gets ridiculous. But, we got sounds like this. So you can already hear, even without some additional reverb and things like that, how it just sounds amazing. And even though, the Quimera is also, all these same sounds are available when you play your bass or your guitar. I just prefer to design sounds with MIDI controllers versus trying to sit there and pluck a string 50,000 times. It's a little easier getting to these sounds this way. So you take simple MIDI in. Again, just throw on some Mercury X reverb, pitch delay. You can also, because of the sampling powers of the Quimera, right? I was able to sample some Rhodes sounds, piano sounds, as well as the included, what you've been hearing is some of the included samples. That's why right here is bring this volume down. This is a Rhodes sample. So what that does, the reason why I like to have samples like that in the Quimera is because now I can have like lo-fi EP or piano sounds very easily. And then that gets you right in the territory when you want to add this. it just gives you a whole different sound than your traditional EP sound, you know? And that's very, sometimes I might not, I got, of course, on my iPad, I have Neo Soul Keys app. If I want to get more of that authentic. But that's a whole different sound than. So that's much, even though it is a sample, it's much more synth sounding than if I use the actual, like actual samples. Like that's actually a sample of a sample. So all these different things help you get into these different sounds, you know, that you can combine with different things. I can combine that sound with, so a free app that'll help you on the, bring this down. One of the free apps that'll help you on your iPad or iPhone is the Pure Synth app. It's made by the same people as the Neo Soul Keys app. But now I can just go to regular old reverb, right? So I can come over here. The Neo Soul, Pure Synth app, Platinum 2, I believe. Pure Synth Platinum 2 app is actually free, right? So you can download that on your iPad, iPhone, play around, learn some synth, learn how to work some synth, even if you don't have one. And I find that it has some very nice sounds in there. Just in the free presets. And of course you can buy the full preset packs and all that stuff. They're not expensive. They're like $5 to $15 usually on here. So that's one of the pads I picked out that I like. And here's another one. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. It definitely helps me out. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And check out Patreon for my preset packs, different pedals. Future Impact, Enzo X, Mercury X. If you like my Mercury X settings that you're hearing, they're on the Patreon. 20-some different bass preamps for the Tone X1. And I also have things for the Zoom B6, MS60B Plus, and MS70 CDR Plus, along with the C4 synth. So check all that stuff out. So you combine that with the Quimera. So just so many sounds available to you. Let me make sure I'm not missing. I don't know what's going on with these chats right now. Definitely appreciate y'all watching. all that good stuff. So, all right, let's get back to it. If you got any questions, let me know. So, yeah, the Pure Synth app definitely has a lot going on with it, and it's free. So it's just something additional you can have on there. And if you want the full thing, you can go ahead and buy it. And I also like to use Sample Tank. They have some Nord samples on Sample Tank. And they actually sample quite a few different synthesizers. So that's from the Nord. That's Mega Motion 4. And I like this Juniper pad. Another one you can easily combine those two sounds together. Let's bring that back. But that's why I like to use the sampling capabilities of the Quimera a lot. You know, that it really opens up possibilities to sounds a lot. And it's not like a perfect sampler like an MPC. You know, it's meant to take the sample and manipulate it with an ADSR and a whole bunch of other things like 2 LFOs, envelope, what else you got in there? You also have a separate ADSR just for the modulation section. So you actually have 3 different ADSRs within the Quimera. You have the one for the oscillator. You have an ADSR, full ADSR for the filter and the modulation section, which controls pitch, volume, the filter, and let's see, if you're using a morphing table wave, morphing table wave file on there, it allow you to shift that as well. So, all right, switch back to here. So that's the Quimera, again by itself. Let's see what else we got on here. I was able to create some really nice sounds on this unit. So let's just scroll through a few. Able to create some great bass sounds with it as well. Let's see. I'm gonna go to just a regular old beautiful things about the Electro Harmonics tri-parallel mixer is, of course, if I need a little more volume, I need some more bottom end, I can EQ it just a little bit. Now, it does not do monophonic, you know, it doesn't do monophonic mode at all. So everything's always polyphonic. So that will determine how you play it a little differently than something like the a Moog style synthesizer like the Future Impact. So if you wanted to glide more, you're going to definitely have to, you know, use the glide setting. Say I wanted that preset right there to go ahead and glide for me. Let's see where it is at. Bam. Come over here to the tracking section. Just give it a little bit of... You can add more if you want more of a dramatic. So you can get it to glide. You just gotta get, you know, surgical with the actual setting in the tracking section. Now, you know, these different settings all help you make, you know, a song. You know, and ultimately, like I explained, the Quimera, just like, you know, is its own thing. I wouldn't try, you know, I don't consider it like the Quimera or the Enzo X. They both have totally different sounds, totally different purposes, meant to sound differently. Let's do, nope. The Quimera got some nice sounds you can make with it. And all these are sounds that I've made. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do a preset pack for the Quimera or not. Just because I haven't figured out how to export the presets just yet. And I will say this much about the Quimera. You have to get used to the workflow. So, matter of fact, I'll just go ahead. Let's get something going from scratch. Feel free to ask questions if y'all have any questions on this particular pedal. So, what I recommend if you're starting a preset from scratch, I guess find a preset you don't like. I was even able to make stuff like that. So something like that I'm not going to use. So bam, I go there, assign it to one of the preset slots, one of the, I guess, banks. So I'm assigning it to that bank there. So now the sound, that particular sound is there, right? Hit scope/utility, scroll all the way to the last menu and hit set default and enter yes. And what that does is set the preset to just everything back to the default setting. And what I like to do is just go ahead, save it. So just in case I accidentally switch, I don't have to do that again. So that gives me a raw patch there. Just a saw wave. So you got options when you're dealing with the Quimera. And one of the biggest options is the oscillators. So you got square waves, saw waves, triangle, sine waves, pulse waves at 25 and 12.5%. These game oscillators. Right? And I actually like these. You can also hard sync these. So any of these oscillators you're hearing, here's a sawtooth. I can change the way that sounds. So even the individual oscillators you can alter with the hard ones that are hard sync. So I like to just find some nice oscillators, or you got these wave tables. So those are some of the morphing wave tables. That's the basic one. You got a PWM, pulse width modulation. And then you get into the samples. You got things like the piano sample. These are the samples that come included. Right? And you can set these to play forwards, backwards, and all that other stuff as well. So I can set that to loop. So as I'm holding it, it'll play it again. Make sure I hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget the super chat if this is useful to you. So you can set it to do things like this, or, you know, just play it one time just like using it as a regular instrument. You can set it to play backwards in a loop. So you can really get some really crazy sounds that way. So say we were going to use that, you know, we can come over, we got a whole nother oscillator. So you got oscillator A, oscillator B. If I wanted something mellow, I can go with a sine wave underneath. Right? And I can also change the pitch of these. So say I wanted that other oscillator to be up an octave or up a fifth. I can set it up a fifth. Which all this type of stuff right now is dry. So you when you run this stuff through like some great reverbs like that are in the Mercury X or even the Enzo X, you get some crazy sounds back at you. All right, so we can set that to anywhere from 2 octaves above to 2 octaves below, I believe. Yes. So let's put that 20. Like it time stretches it. So back at the original pitch. If I can detune the other one. You won't hear it as much with this, but all right, so if we went with something like that, we still have the filter section. We still have the ADSRs to play with, as well as glide. Say we wanted to add some glide to that. This is hit tracking, level track. You can add, if you were playing with your bass, you can add some compression to your sound. I typically like my synths around 22, 25, somewhere around there. Change your dry level, all that stuff. For the harmonic mix, I usually like this around 20 something. That gives me closer, you know, almost just the pure synth sound when it's tracking, but it needs a little bit of that harmonic content to track well. So I usually put a bit in that, about 20 something, 25, 30. And you can play around with the octave and the chromaticism of it. So let's add a little bit of glide to this. Right, we can come over to the ADSR, and we got attack, decay, sustain, and release here. So if we want that sound to have some release, like that. So again, this is the piano sample running backwards, reverse, in a loop. along with a sine wave that is, just regular old sine wave with some release on it and some glide, right? So that's all we've done so far. Now, if we say we wanted that sine wave to be a little bit more dynamic, we can bring down the sustain and add some release. Right? See, now it's got a nice, almost keyboard type texture to it versus just a regular old, it's got some dynamic range to it now. Like almost like you're hitting almost EP like. And this is something you always want to do, quick save your progress, right? So the way I do it is I just press and hold, right? Press, and on the last one I hold, and that saves it. Now, even if I accidentally press something else already, I don't have to start that process over and try to get that exact thing again, because it is so many parameters to work with on this particular device. So you definitely want to save periodically and just make sure you're saving to the right spots, because I've accidentally saved over stuff and was mad. But all right, now we got the filter section if we want to use it, right? Sounds doesn't really need a filter. But we can add a filter on here. Say we put a Moog style low pass filter, the negative 24 dB, classic Moog style filter. Instantly mellows out the sound a bit. So we can set our cutoff frequency. Resonance. So you can hear it sweeping there. Let's turn that resonance all the way up. It's making it feedback. So you can even make the filter feedback. I wonder if I make it feedback and then I set it to the keyboard tracking. You can play the filter. Oh, that's cool. You can also set the mix of the filter as well. You can set it to key tracking. You can set the mix of the filter as well. And they give you, they give you a really wide variety of filters in here. You got their standard filters, low pass, high pass, 6 and 12, band pass. And then the two Moog style filters, negative 12 and negative 24 dB, classic. Then you have the format filters, and that they do that for the low, mids, and highs. So you can select which one you want it to affect. So it's lots of possibilities in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button and hit that hype button. Hit them reactions for me. You know, who else make sure they get y'all this type of stuff so soon? Like, you know, I've been getting y'all the Quimera since it came, you know, like a month after this thing came out. I got y'all. So, back to our original sound, right? Everything doesn't always need a filter. So you can turn the filter off if you would like. I actually like that with the filter off. We come over here to the effects section and we have distortions, modulations, delays, and reverbs. You also got a bit crusher in here. Which you can set the mix as well. You can set the tone. Just want a little bit. See if we run that through. We got in the modulation section, flanger, chorus, and vibrato. See a bit of flanger on there. Chorus. Vibrato. Yeah, I actually like that vibrato on there. It kind of really gets it lo-fi. Bring it back just a bit. So I'm using the bit crusher to kind of add that extra lo-fi element, almost like tape, like some older dissemination on a tape. And then like the vibrato to add that extra lo-fi feel to it. Again, say that once you get to a place where you really like the sound, just go ahead and put it in there. Yeah, a lot of that low pro. What's going on, Porch Base? Appreciate you stopping by. What's going on, folks? Usual suspects in the house starting to get in here, but yeah, it's a very lo-fi sounding unit in general. But you can get some really. I was actually using the EP sounds on there, like that I made on a gig. Like I got called in for bass. They actually double booked bass players and then booked a keyboard player. And so I just went ahead and played keys for the gig and I actually used the Quimera and the Enzo X as my EPs on that. And it worked out just fine. Everybody was kind of impressed that these units could get that, You know, they couldn't really, you know, of course it wasn't an actual road sound, but you know what I'm saying. All right, so we got that in there so far. So far we have just to recap, on the oscillator side, we have the piano, the built-in piano sample, and we're running that in a reverse loop. And then on the second oscillator, oscillator B, we have a sine wave, and that's unison pitch to what's going on, as well as is no detune on it. So, and it's just a smidge of that sample, by the way. It's mostly that sine wave. And then onto the ADSR, we have no attack, a really good amount of decay, probably about 75% of that all the way up, about halfway up on the sustain, and about 75% on the release there. Then over here in the glide section, on the tracking level tracker section, we have the glide around like probably about 7 or 8. Coming over here, we got that bit crusher, and we just got that mixed in slightly, while we have the vibrato, completely mixed in. So it's 100% wet on the vibrato side of that. All right, so we'll add a bit of delay to that. Let's see if we're gonna we have digital, analog, and reverse. I think we might use some reverse just to keep it extra lo-fi. Let's just hear what it's actually doing. Okay, just a little bit of that. A little less. Yeah, I like that. And that's like 5. That joint's on 5. So then we add a little bit of reverb. I do like this warm reverb a little bit, but the reverbs aren't the greatest in here. Especially see what the reverb sounds like. So you can get away with that by itself. This is the large reverb, bright reverb. Small reverb and tiny. Bring that back. Let's open this room up. I might actually go with the warm. And bring that reverse reverb back even more. Just 3. Okay. take something like that. What's going on, folks? Appreciate you chiming in. You know, and that's like one of the, let me see what we got here. I don't want, let me a second. Let me catch up on y'all chat. Yeah, okay, so let's start here. Is it better than the Enzo X? I don't look at synthesizers and stuff like that, or effects pedals in general. Like, these are two completely different things. This is more of a hi-fi synth. This is more of a lo-fi synth. They're not going to get you the same sounds. They can get you similar sounds, but they will not get you the same sounds. You know, even down to this has polyphonic and monophonic mode, while this has just polyphonic mode. Things like that will completely separate them, and how you processing the just like your actual workflow on each one is slightly different. Let me say this real quick. So, you know, but they're both amazing, and they're both worth having, and you won't get the same sounds you'll get out of any other unit out of these two. These two will give you sounds, you know, these two will give you sounds that other units will not. Even the bigger keyboards won't be able to give you these exact sounds. So I recommend. So that's where we are with the patch so far. See what else we got here. Yeah, it's not like a DX7. It's a different type of thing, you know. Definitely a very useful pedal. And it tracks well when you set it up. Like, again, you want to have, I like to have around 20 to 30% on that harmonic mix in the tracking section, and that usually helps me out. And I usually have it on pretty high compression on here in the tracking section, and I usually have the sense of the tracker around 25, somewhere around there. All right. Yeah, I know. You can hear so much stuff with it. And the reverb does have a dampener setting, and that pretty much is like a high pass type thing. So I can demonstrate that for you real quick. So I'm gonna bring up so that's all reverb mix there. So if I turn the dampening off, right, if I bring it up, dampening setting up, it thins it out a bit. So that's the only thing. You don't have a ton of control over stuff like you do in the Enzo X, for sure. You know, Enzo X definitely has a lot more control in terms of how things are. But this thing does have an extreme amount of settings that you can alter. And this is just these side of the buttons. We ain't even get over here yet. So let's get back to the patch. Right, we can take that. We can come over to the mod section, and if we wanted to assign things to the pitch, we got a separate ADSR for the pitch that we can attach here, and that's the ADSR in the mod ADSR in the ADSR section. So if you were here, say mod ADSR mod, and what that does, you know, it controls this one here. And you got two LFOs and an envelope that you can control, similar to the modifiers in the Enzo X, if you're an Enzo X user. Yeah, I have two Enzo X's. I stack the sounds, you know, for different things. And again, I'm gonna get to the iPad stuff. You know, if you didn't catch that earlier, in the iPad, the synth I'm gonna explain later is called Pure Synth. Pure Synth Platinum 2, and it's free. You can just download that and, you know, and play around with a synth if you're not used to one. But again, back to here. So in this mod section, you can control the pitch, the volume of each. So the pitch and the volume of each oscillator, and the filter. Right, you can assign an ADS the mod ADSR to the filter. If you wanted two envelopes to interact with the filter setting. You can also assign both of those LFOs, both of them at the same time, and also envelope. So you control all of that through here. So say I wanted some vibrato, right? You got different waveforms you can assign to the LFOs. So say I wanted to use that modulation slot for something else, I can assign the LFO to the pitches. But here I'm going to assign it to, let's see, I'm going to go to the filter section actually, right? So, and I'm going to assign the envelope. Well, let's do the ADS, let's do the LFO first. So we'll put this on a Moog style filter, LFO. We'll use a sine wave. We'll crank it up just so we can hear it pretty well. I also like the fact that they really put some thought into the menus and how your workflow would be. If I'm working with the filter, right, say I'm coming, the last thing I was doing was the filter section, and I press ADSR or mod, it'll automatically go to those filter settings on there, so it actually helps you out. Yes, it's the Quimera. This is the Bananana, literally that's their name, Bananana effects, Quimera. I believe these are Japanese or made in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. They're not too big in the US yet. Like this particular unit just came out maybe a few months ago, a month or two, if that. But again, I can come here, assign this to the LFO or the envelope or any of that. So now you hear the filter assigned to the LFO. I can come to the LFO section. If I slow it down here, you see that? I can have different waveforms for the LFOs. So square, you know. It's more of a random type of wave. And I can also set how much that interacts. I don't want it to interact that much. So you also can set the amount. Then you can also set the envelope. Come back to this filter section, bring this cutoff down, right? Add some resonance. You also got a separate drive for the filter section. So let's come back over here to the envelope section. So let's take that, go to the filter here. Let's see how that's interacting. Come here and exaggerate it for you guys. Ooh, that's crazy. So you can hear as when I press it, it's opening that filter because it's based on the envelope, and you can set it to sense the MIDI as well. Yeah, they got a lot of, except, you know, the cool thing about being open to different sounds, you'll find that everything is not the same. Like the Enzo X stuff sounds very pristine, very clean, hi-fi, like the best quality, like sound. But it can never get you the same lo-fi type of sounds as the Quimera, even doing lo-fi stuff that it can do, because it can do some lo-fi sounds now. It's got nice bit crusher, ring mod in there, but these are much more lo-fi sounding. Like they're not going to get you that nice, clean type of sound. It's going to get you that real downgraded. You come over here, you can mix that too. So we'll bring let's add some drive to that sound. Soft clip instead of the hard, right? We can bring that filter mix back. So now you're in the real lo-fi territory now. And all you got to do, if you really want to step that sound up, the way I love, this is why I love the Meris Mercury X. You know, Enzo X is amazing pedal, but the Mercury X is also an amazing pedal in a whole different way. You're going to get the best reverbs, but you're going to be able to finish your sounds in a whole different way. Now, watch how much adding some of my presets from the Mercury X are going to open up that sound. Say that real quick. It's even got a tilt EQ on it, right? So now I can EQ that if I needed it darker and more bottom, bass heavy, I can do that. Or I can tilt it to where it's more in the upper range, which is very useful because I don't have to have a separate EQ pedal for each synth pedal. So in the tri mixer here, I'm actually running the first one is the Future Impact V4 VIP. Quimera's in the second loop, and the Enzo X is in this last loop here. And that is running. They're all running mono, and then they come out of mono out of here into the Pog 3 Ravis Sitar, the 256 vocoder on over to the Tone X1 Mercury X to the new X looper, dual stereo looper, and the Canvas stereo line isolator. And I also have the iPad here, right? So let's not forget about that. So in the iPad, I'm running the Pure Synth Platinum 2 app, right? It's free. Might as well check it out. Yeah, I do. You know, I actually do work with a few of these companies. You know, they need to put me on the sales team. Y'all need to hit them up. Hit them up. Tell them exactly how you feel about your boy doing these reviews for them. So they, you know, but they, you know, I do. Full disclosure, you know, Maris did send me the Mercury X, and you know, so but the Enzo X I definitely bought myself, you know. But the Mercury X, they rock with me, you know, and I always disclose that so you guys. But that's not why I speak highly of them. You can hear the quality in this stuff. So I'm not, you know, Bananana, I've never talked to. I just saw the pedal, like this stuff. Electro Harmonics, never talked to, you know. But that's why I like Maris, because they talk to me. And they sound amazing. Like, you're not going to find a better sounding reverb pedal than that that's going to do all of that. So you start stacking stuff, and, you know, also, you know, Tone X1s, if you want to check out Tone X1s, you know, let them know. Let IK Multimedia know I sent you, you know. Yeah, that's stupid nasty. Here's another preset from the Mercury X. Same sound. But yeah, again, let's get into the iPad for a little bit. So that's pretty much, I walked you through pretty much how to create different, how to create a preset with the Quimera there. And you can recreate that one if you grab one. They're about $400, so they're not super expensive. And again, they track really well. Everything with the tracking of these newer pedals is about you playing correctly and having the correct settings. So each and every one of them have their own tracking settings that you need to hone in. Electro Harmonics doesn't use that. You know, it's a different type of thing with them. But the Future Impact, Quimera, and Enzo X, you need to dial in the tracking settings. So the note on, note off level of the Future Impact input level, right? And then set the tracking in the software to 0, right? The 0 latency tracking. With the Quimera, you want to come to the level/tracker section, turn up that compressor, bring that sense down to about 20. Make sure your signal is at a good level, you know what I'm saying, to really hit those different marks. You know, you just want to get it to where your signal just hits right above that little marker there, you'll see. All right. Then you come over to the harmonic mix. I typically like mine around the 20s, the 30 area. And that also affects the tracking of the Quimera. Enzo X, you want to turn on the noise gate in the global section, as well as in the amp envelope section. You want to play around with your note persist. you know, the time of it. So I like mine anywhere from 4 to 11 seconds. Usually gives me what I'm looking for. Usually 11 seconds when I'm doing more chordal things, closer to 4 to 5, 6 seconds when I'm doing quicker notes. But they all track well. You really have to know what you're doing to get them to do what you needed to do. You know what I'm saying? So those are some tips and tricks for all three of those pedals. But all right, back to the iPad. So because I have an amazing Tone X1, and don't forget my 22, I believe, different preamp packs I have available for the Tone X1 on my Patreon. It's also an audio interface. So all of these pedals and all this stuff, right, is running into the Tone X1. And then I'm coming out of here stereo into the Mercury X, stereo out of here to the dual loop stereo, and stereo into the line isolator and out to the mixing board that you're hearing me through. So with that, the Tone X1 is an audio interface. Ta-da! Makes my life so much easier. So after all those synths and stuff, right, they all run through here, but it's not going necessarily to the iPad. I can set it to go to the iPad and come back, but right now it's set to just go straight to the output, right? And I have the audio interface linked for the iPad linked up through this USB-C. Got a little hub underneath you can't really see, and I'm also running an H2 MIDI Pro here with a WIDI jack. Now, if you're like me and you have MIDI already implemented into your board, I have wireless and wired MIDI on the side of the board through the CME H4 MIDI Pro, which is a bigger version of this. Gives me 2 ins and 2 outs with the 5-pin MIDI ports. And it also has up to 8 different USB-C devices, USB MIDI devices it can control as well at once. All right, cool. I have the bigger brother underneath the board built into it. And from there, I'm running, I have that wirelessly attached to the WIDI jack. iPads and iPhones, you can actually do wireless MIDI through the actual phone itself. If you download something like the AUM app, which is the audio mixer app for the iPad, which is what you're looking at here, this will allow you to do all your routing of multiple apps and control everything in one central place and use your iPad essentially as a sound module. So I have Sample Tank, Neo Soul, Keys app, and Pure Synth Platinum 2. So let's see. This is one of the pads from Pure, from the free synth app. This is free. And this is one of the free presets as well. And of course, you run that through some of the Mercury X stuff. It just adds so much width and space to your sounds. Open that up a little bit. So it's actually a full feature synth. You not only get like the actual synth part, you get an effects rack in there and everything when you, depending on which version you have. And you get 4 oscillators in here, up to 4 oscillators. You get separate ADSRs for all of those, separate um, separate filters as well. Sheesh. Separate filters. Yeah, so you get up to four oscillators with that, and that's really amazing. And then the effects on there are really good as well. So that's also worth noting. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. This is another one of their pads. And this is without the Mercury X. That's a free synth on your phone? You mean to tell me on your phone, your iPad, they got like the level of sounds is to the point where unless it's a unique synth like these ones, I'm not really even buying it. Like what? Not to mention, that's only the second synth we're listening to. That one was Lush Vintage, and the other one, the first pad, was on the Move. Here's Juno Phil. These are nice. Let's see. And these are just the free set and the free presets. And you still have full access to all the sound shape and stuff. So you have access to the full synth with the free version. You just have to build all these sounds yourself. All right? And then full stereo too. Very nice sound. got some nice leads in here too. And you can set it to monophonic or polyphonic mode. See, that's what I was talking yeah, you can get some nice sounds out of this. This is a hop. Ah! Which is just like a classic synth lead you would do in general, you know, but that lead is fire. You see we got a nice warm sound to it. Add that to the favorites. Check out a few basses. See, it allows you to create sounds like that as well because each oscillator has its own ADSR and filter. That's another fire joint. Another favorite. I could work with that as well. See, it's different when, you know, you really start opening up your options. You know, it might not, your next thing might not always be a $400 pedal. It might be a free app, you know what I'm saying, that you can, you probably, a lot of us already have MIDI controllers and things like that. A lot of us, this iPad was only $150, $200 on Amazon. I got a couple years ago, got that, and I got the refurbished one. So it didn't cost me a lot. And I already have an iPhone, you know, was already using that. So all I had to do was just incorporate all this into my setup with a audio interface and a MIDI interface. So now you have things like, this, like the X-Tone Pro. And this is what I would use if I was out, you know, but this actually is a MIDI controller. You know, got foot switches. You can assign these in different banks to different things in your iPad or your iPhone, and it's also can be powered by them through USB or 9-volt. I suggest, even if you're using the USB, go ahead, add the 9-volt, keep it stable. And you got a headphone, you got your MIDI in and out, you got even 1/4 inch, and so you got 1/4 inch left, and then you got a combo jack for your right input there. So, you know, these are very useful. You got XLR out, left and right 1/4 inch out stereo, you know, ground lift. So it's a DI box. It's also a, you know, a MIDI foot switch controller. It's got 48-volt phantom power, bam, mic input. It's got expression input here, so if you want to run an expression pedal. Oh, these are great devices, built like a tank. It's all steel, you know, what you would expect. It's got its own volume knob and everything, so you can also monitor your actual real-time input, so you don't have to run it through the software for your inputs. You can just turn on the monitor thing and it'll run it straight to the output. But these are great. You know, I haven't had any issues with this. And again, it's built like a tank, and it's pretty much the function that I'm using here, all in one. So if you're looking for an all-in-one solution for that, that's an option. I already had a Tone X1, you know what I'm saying, on the board. So I was, you know, I just figured it's already at the end, right before the Mercury X, where I want these things to go to for additional processing of sound. So it was perfect. You know, Tone X1 wins is awesome for that. It's also an audio interface. You just run your sounds from your computer. Even if you wanted to practice and stuff, you can just run your sounds directly, you know, into there, and not have to run an additional inputs. I mean, use additional inputs from your mixer or whatever. Say you have a smaller mixer, you ain't got all these extra channels and this and that. Comes in handy. Yeah. All right, cool. So even that Pure Synth app is free. Again, you get you the AUM mixer app that allows me to use multiple instances of the Pure Synth app. I have 2 of them queued up here, so I can use 2 different sounds from that app. I'm using a pad, so you got 1 pad and the bass synth. So if I wanted to stack sounds that way, I could. If I wanted to, like, use the Neo Soul Keys app in conjunction with the Pure Synth Platinum 2 app, I can do that as well. I can use it in conjunction with Sample Tank as well. So, you know, having all that set up in the iPad means I don't have to really take too much additional gear to get my piano, EP sounds, or even additional synth sounds. Now I can, you know, with the way I have it set up here, I have sample tank running. That's up to 8 different sample tank sounds at once. Neo Soul Keys app, which is running all my EP electric piano road sounds. And then I also have 2 instances of the Pure Soul Platinum 2 app running for, you know, different sounds. If I want to use 2 different pads, if I want to use a lead sound and a pad sound, or if I want to use a pad and a synth sound, a bass synth sound, I can do all of that right here. So that gives me up to, you know, 11 different sounds just from the iPad at once if I wanted to. 11 different layers plus any of these additional layers that I want to add that's around. And I even have another, you know, which was mentioned earlier, another Enzo X here on the desk, which is also wirelessly connected to my pedal board. So even if I wanted additional sounds from the Enzo X on the desk, this is why I love MIDI and having everything set up. We're bringing in Quimera. Let's put them all in a room together. Still got a whole nother Enzo X up here. If I wanted to add another layer, say I wanted to add some string-like sounds or something. Let's see. See if we're going to add on the bottom of this, maybe. Let's do something like that. Quimera. Synth. Second Enzo X. Sample tank. piano sound. You can go add an EP instead of a piano. So, yeah, kind of try things in layers. Having something like the Electro Harmonics tri-parallel mixer definitely will assist you with that. I can, for instance, I can choose to play this top keyboard using the Future Impact instead. So even instances like that, that's literally all the different synths working together in that instance. You had the Quimera, Enzo X, Pure Synth app, along with the Neo Soul Keys app, and the other Enzo X. The Enzo X's, both of them simultaneously. Easy. And I can mix those anywhere I want to. Say that Enzo X is too loud, bring that down. Say the Quimera doing too much, bring that down. Brass. Which is, the reason why I like to have all these multiple synths around. You can really combine them to create some incredible sounds, and it's almost like my own custom keyboard. The parts of it, it's like a I think of it as like a modular hybrid bass setup. That's pretty much what it is. This is really my bass pedal board here, and I'm just playing using MIDI controllers to play through it. When I'm on gigs, primarily I'm just taking this pedal board and my bass and rocking out. You know what I'm saying? Because I can play all of these with my bass, and they all are set up for that. But it is nice to be able to, expand the capabilities of my purchase, you know what I'm saying, by being able to use the MIDI controller with it. And say I wanted, I'm on a gig and I have my band and I want them to use certain sounds, I can have them patch into the MIDI, no problem. No extra setup, no extra anything. I don't have to program a separate pedal. I can just do that and have it run out and mix it all together, that way. But yeah, there's tons of ways to get that this setup would be useful to a lot of people. And with the wireless capabilities, I wouldn't even have to do anything but take something like this WIDI jack, or also have the WIDI Master by CME. I have two of those. I can take those and just plug them into different MIDI devices and play those, all while these two MIDI controllers, this entire pedal board is all powered by one power outlet through the Canvas Power 15. So all I have to do is plug in one power outlet to power all of this, including the MIDI controllers and all the other additional MIDI devices. iPad's running on its own stuff. You really, it's really optimized for live performance, which took a long time, I ain't gonna lie. Let me name this real quick. Somebody give me a name for this or something. Need to name this. So again, it's not really about buying, just like effects pedals with synth pedals, it's really not about buying one of them, to be honest. Like if you look at people that play synthesizers, they usually have a room full of them, regardless of if they have a Moog or a Oberheim or whatever you want to use, ARP 2600, whatever. They'll still have other synths. That's for a reason. It's because no one synth does it all, and none of them sound the same. Let me just get it some generic name. Cool. Save it. I love synth pedals. You gotta love them. So I hope this has been useful for you guys. These are some amazing pedals, and they all deserve their own amount of attention. And again, going back to the Quimera, you got all types of sounds in this jazz. See, now, sounds like this are a good example. Let me get back. Where did that go? Release on that, as well as on the actual envelope. Like that. Get that little fade in and a little release. Add a little resonance. Let's go ahead and say that. We're going to work with that a little bit more. I don't like that, is that Yeah, sounds like this. You gotta kind of play around with it a little bit. Let's get that out of there. Out of there. Sawtooth. All right, let's get more volume. Cool. Getting there. It's 2 sawtooth waves. So let's go ahead and say that right there. Modulation. Yeah, you can change the sync and all that. Pitch, volume, filter. Let's add a small amount of bit crust. Let's see if we can. Had to shorten that glide time. All right, got that there. A little bit of delay. Let's do a little bit of reverse. That could be interesting there. Glides a little slow. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Definitely appreciate y'all hanging out. All that good stuff. Especially if it's like a bottom layer. Definitely wanted to glide just a smidge faster. Yeah, presets like this are a little bit more for, you know, pad type sounds versus trying to move quickly. All right. This is also the Quimera and the iPad. So this is the Neo Soul Keys app along with the Quimera. This is another one of my custom presets. So the Rose is coming from the iPad, while the ambient sound, that water type sound, is coming from the Quimera. Another one of my favorite presets I've been able to make. Preset on the Quimera. That's the Quimera. It's a nice choir sound. So the piano's sample tank, while the Quimera's running this choir preset I made. Which I might take this choir preset here and drop it down an octave. Yeah, that's better. I like that a lot more. Also take some of that. lot of that is that Quimera in the background. Even simple sounds like that little choir sound. So yeah, you can get just some amazing textures, additional textures into your music with a Quimera and an iPad. And I mean, they can be the main textures. Like then, that piano sounds amazing in Sample Tank. You know what I'm saying? So that along with the sequence in the background. Just makes for an amazing experience. But So that's all I'm going to do for today, guys. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you for spending some time with me, dropping past. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out, as well as subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe, you know what I'm saying, so you can keep up with everything. Check out my Patreon, which I have different preset packs on there for various synth pedals and effects pedals, including Zoom pedals, Tonix preamps, Future Impact V4, the Enzo X and Mercury X and C4 Synth are all on the Patreon, as well as if you would like to support the channel for $5 a month. So check all that out over on the Patreon, and subscribe over on all the other social media platforms at the Bass Negus, Negus. And I will catch you guys next time. This has been another episode of All Bass Creations, effects, tutorials, demos, and review. I'll catch you later. Peace.